Bell County Sheriff's Department got in pursuit. It didn't last very long, and the suspect vehicle took off the driveway behind me and went up the hill. Eventually, our officer was able to catch up with the vehicle, and a gun battle ensued. Shots were fired. Good Lord willing, our deputy is fine at this time. He's in the care of some professionals, and hopefully everything will be okay with him.
Yeah, I'm going around, go to information on that, so we get them found. Hi, it's Rob Ranko from the Carlson Law Firm in Austin, Texas. Thank you for looking at this today. I want to try to do a short video. As some of you may know, I represent the family of Lyle Blanchard. Lyle was shot and killed on August 30th of 2016 by Bell County Deputy Shane Gears. That's Bell County, Texas. He was killed close to his home outside of Harker Heights, Texas. Lyle was being pulled over on the suspicion of drunk driving at 3:30 in the afternoon on the 30th of August last year. I'm posting this video to express some concerns and a request for answers. Also, I just want to let folks know what's going on. We came into possession of an affidavit for a search warrant, and a search warrant that was issued the same day that Lyle was killed, August 30th, 2016. The search warrant was signed at 11:36 p.m., about 8 hours after Lyle was killed. In order to get a search warrant, you need to put in some very specific things. You need to request by affidavit from a judge. You need to identify the property that you want to search, the things you think you will find, and why you think you will find these things. Why will they be useful? What leads you to believe that they'll be there? Why will they help? So you need to put in some very specific things into your affidavit in order to get a search warrant. I have posted below, in the information below this video, a link where you can click and look at this affidavit and look at the search warrant. So very quickly, this affidavit is done by Jim D. Hatfield. Says he's a peace officer under the laws of the state of Texas and commissioned by Texas DPS, by the Texas Rangers Division. So he's a Texas Ranger apparently. And so they describe the premises on the front page. This is the location. It's 12953 FM 2410 in Harker Heights, Texas. And they go through all of the appropriate, very descriptive, very specific, we want to search this property. They even attach, it says, a photograph of the property. And it says that this property is in the charge of and controlled by Lyle P. Blanchard. Okay, problem number one. Lyle Blanchard has been dead for 8 hours. He is in control of nothing. Present tense would be wrong here. To say it was controlled by him might have been proper, might not have gotten him a search warrant, but at least that would be accurate. They also go on to say, Mr. Hatfield does, that it's his belief that the suspected party has possession of, again, present tense, has possession of, and is concealing at said suspected place the following property. Now, there's a whole list of things you can see on the affidavit if you click on it. They think Lyle Blanchard at this property has A, weapons and accessories, B, firearms, C, explosives, D, ammunition, E, literature containing anti-police statements, sentiments, and writings or recordings, F, computers, cell phones, and any other electronic device capable of sending, receiving, or storing data, G, a suicide note, H, and any other items known that could constitute that a particular individual committed the offenses described herein. So what offenses are we talking about? Why do we need this? So it goes into, next it goes into Officer Hatfield's qualifications. Next it goes into the stop. On 8:30 of 16, Bell County Sheriff's Department Corporal Shane Gears was on patrol in a marked patrol unit. He goes into the entire stop saying that Deputy Gears suspected Mr. Blanchard of drunk driving, describes why they suspected it, why they pulled him over. Towards the end of that big paragraph on page 2, it says, Blanchard made a movement with his concealed hand toward Corporal Gears, and Corporal Gears believed Blanchard was armed with a gun. And then the next sentence is astounding to me. Corporal Gears engaged and subdued Blanchard. Here, we'll do this the low-tech way. It's right down here. See? Corporal Gears engaged and subdued Blanchard. He shot him dead. He subdued him with a vengeance. This is misleading. This is suggesting in the affidavit that Mr. Blanchard is alive. That's certainly the way I read it. We don't know how the judge read it, but certainly it doesn't say that he was shot or killed or anything to that effect. He goes on to say that after this altercation where he was subdued, they checked the rolls. They wanted to find out who this Blanchard guy was, so they checked the Harker Heights Police Department service number, and found, they say, that Blanchard has a violent criminal history. Gosh. When you describe somebody as having a violent criminal history, how many violent criminal convictions do you suppose the person has to have before they fall into that category? 2? 4? 1? Well, not for Mr. Hatfield to describe Mr. Blanchard that way. In fact, Lyle Blanchard has 0 violent criminal convictions. But he was arrested apparently about 5 months earlier for aggravated assault with a weapon. It says Blanchard called the Harker Heights Police Department and threatened to shoot the airplanes that were flying overhead. Okay, that's odd. It's certainly not a good thing, and if somebody threatened to do that, they should be charged. We don't know if it happened or not. That's what it says in here. He was never convicted. This obviously was an ongoing investigation. They're using this open investigation to pretend that that's the reason why they want the search warrant. It has nothing to do with that. This is about covering their butts. CYA, as we used to say. They want to find out if there's something they can hang on Lyle Blanchard to convince the public that he needed to die. Why am I so cynical? Well, I'm so cynical because that's exactly what they tried to do in the media following Lyle's death. They told the media, newspaper, TV reporters, there was a gunfight, there was a shootout. This was one guy, Deputy Gears, shooting Lyle Blanchard, an unarmed, 59-year-old, disabled Navy veteran, dead. Unarmed. They never had a reason to suspect that he was armed. After they killed him, they knew damn well he wasn't armed, yet they told the media this was a gunfight, it was a shootout. There was some sort of an altercation between the men. Never happened. Wait until you see the video when it's released. It will get released. That's why we filed a federal lawsuit, was to create some transparency, to create some justice for this family whose brother has been vilified and made to be the bad guy. He's not. He's the victim. They're the victims. This affidavit goes on to say also, in addition to this May of 16 arrest, it says back in 2011, the Harker Heights Police Department responded to a death investigation at the same address, and Blanchard is listed in the report as a suspect. 5 years earlier, apparently, based on this, never charged, certainly never convicted, but he was listed in the report. Those two things, one arrest, no conviction, one time being listed in a police report, apparently no charges or conviction, but that creates, for Mr. Hatfield, a violent criminal history for Lyle Blanchard. This is signed by Mr. Hatfield. It is then signed, notarized by Judge Jessic, Bell County Judge. Then the search warrant is issued as requested. And they did the search. And you can see here the return and inventory. Did they find explosives, ammunition, anti-police literature, all that stuff? No, they found an LG cell phone. An LG cell phone. We need to start asking questions of Bell County, of law enforcement in general. This is not okay. Lyle Blanchard was shot dead. Now the jury will decide how that case resolves. I admit, I'm biased. I represent the family. I think this is a horrible tragedy. It was avoidable. Deputy Gears made a lot of mistakes. He killed Lyle Blanchard unnecessarily. That's a separate issue. This affidavit is shameful. You kill a guy, right or wrong, justified or not. Let's leave that as at least a possibility. Maybe he probably thought he did the right thing at the time. He didn't. But let's assume he believes that. Why would the Bell County officials seek to dig up dirt on a guy that they killed? We shouldn't do this to people who aren't here to defend themselves. We shouldn't do this ever. We shouldn't lie to judges to get search warrants. I want to be clear, I'm very troubled by this whole thing. I'm not casting aspersions at Judge Jessic. I know her reputation is that she is very honorable and a decent judge and a decent person. I believe, based on the language used here, I think she was misled. She was misled into signing this search warrant for an investigation into charges against a dead man at 11:30 at night. I assume at her home. I don't know where else this would have been signed. She was led to believe this was an emergency. We'll find out more about that, I think, but I just want to be very clear. I am not saying anything negative about the judge, but I think the folks who caused this to happen have a lot of questions to answer. We intend to ask them. Perhaps the media will ask them at some point as well. Thank you for watching, and contact me if you have any other thoughts or questions or concerns. Thanks for tuning in.
Watch, Texas deputy kills unarmed Navy vet, sheriff lies about gun battle that never took place. A Texas deputy shot and killed an unarmed Navy veteran during a traffic stop, then the sheriff in charge lied about it, saying the deputy and the man were engaged in a shootout where the deputy was fired upon first, prompting him to fire his weapon 8 times. But that never happened. Dashcam video released this week shows not only was there no shootout, Lyle P. Blanchard, 59, didn't even have a gun when he exited his vehicle, only to be struck by 4 of 8 rounds fired by Bell County Sheriff's Corporal Shane Gears in Harker Heights, Texas. Police also claim Blanchard had anti-police literature, bomb materials, and other weaponry stashed at his house. But that wasn't true either. The video shows Gears approaches Blanchard's body 3 minutes after shooting him, but does not attempt to render any aid. Gears was then cleared by a Bell County grand jury February 15 after Ranger Justin Duck conducted an investigation, according to the Killeen Daily Herald. After Deputy Gears shot Blanchard, Bell County Sheriff Eddie Lang apparently lied to reporters at the scene. You can hear Sheriff Lang state clearly to AN Gears shot Blanchard during a gun battle in the video directly below. Lang's ramblings to the press were not included in the Rangers' investigation, and Gears' testimony to the Rangers given several days after the shooting did not mention any exchange of gunfire. According to Gears' testimony in the transcribed report, Gears stated Blanchard refused clearly stated verbal commands after Blanchard stopped his SUV and yelled obscenities at Gears through his driver's side window, which was open. I continued to loudly and clearly instruct him to show me his hands, as they were both not visible, Gears stated. Instead of complying, the driver yelled other obscenities at me during my approach. But dashcam video shows Gears left his emergency sirens on throughout the incident, which might make his commands difficult to hear from 40 yards away. Nonetheless, Gear contends he could hear exactly what Blanchard yelled from approximately 40 yards away and that his commands were clear. I yelled as loud as I could to show me his hands and I saw his arm coming forward from his lower back waist as if he were bringing a gun out and up, Gears claimed in the report. Although I did not clearly see his hand, I felt like he had to have a gun in it by the motion he made, and it appeared to me that he was pulling a gun on me. Although Gears was wearing a body camera, he claims the camera did not activate or capture audio outside of his vehicle. According to the Texas Department of Public Safety, audio from Gears' dashcam could not be enhanced due to limitations in the department's software. Video of the shooting below. Below that includes footage of the Blanchard family's civil rights attorney Robert Ranco discussing how police issued a warrant for his client 8 hours after his death in order to justify shooting him, including, claiming he had bomb materials, anti-police literature, ammunition, and gun, which is apparently not true.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago. And so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too, because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me, and I'm sick of it. So I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.